The wasteland doesn't care about your dreams, your morals, or your scars. It chews you up, spits you out, and waits for you to crawl back so it can do it again. Survival isn't a choice out here. It's instinct. And for Maren, it was all she'd ever known. She was a scavenger, combing through the bones of the old world for scraps that might buy her another day. Every step was a gamble, every find a fleeting victory. But then came the day she unearthed the rusted crown. It was buried in the ruins of a military bunker, beneath twisted rebar and scorched concrete. Just another piece of pre-war junk, she thought at first. A hunk of rusted metal that had seen better days centuries ago. But when she held it in her hands, something stirred. It wasn't just metal. It was something alive, humming faintly, like it was waiting. And before she even realized what she was doing, she placed it on her head. That's when everything changed. The whispers started softly, suggestions really. A voice that didn't belong to her, urging her to move faster, think smarter, fight harder. And it worked. She became quicker, sharper. Raiders who would have gutted her a week ago didn't stand a chance. Her scavenging trips became hunts, and her hunts became victories. People began to notice her. The whispers told her she could be more than just another scavenger scraping by. They told her she could lead. Maren never set out to unite the wasteland. That's not what scavengers do. But the crown had other plans. The power it gave her wasn't just strength, it was presence. People followed her, first out of fear, then out of respect. Settlements that had once been easy prey for raiders began to flourish under her protection. The whispers didn't just stay whispers. They became memories, visions of the man who wore the crown before her, the rusted king. She saw through his eyes as he built his empire, turning chaos into order, ruthlessness into law. She saw the wasteland kneeling before him, but she also saw the cost, his paranoia, his cruelty, his betrayal. The rusted king had united the wasteland, yes, but only for it to fall apart in the end. And now, the crown wanted her to try again. The wasteland began to change under her watch. Raiders who once roamed freely either swore allegiance or disappeared. Trade routes reopened, settlements rebuilt. People started to hope again. And Maren, for a time, let herself believe she was doing the right thing. But the whispers never stopped. They grew louder, harsher, demanding more. The crown wasn't satisfied with peace. It wanted control. Complete, unrelenting control. It wanted her to crush anyone who stood against her, to rule with the same iron fist the rusted king had wielded. One night, as she stood atop the ruins of an old overpass, watching the flicker of settlement fires in the distance, she felt the weight of the crown like never before. She'd done what the whispers wanted. She'd brought order to the chaos. But at what cost? The people who trusted her looked at her now with fear in their eyes. The crown was turning her victories into something darker, and the longer she wore it, the less she felt like herself. The whispers reached a fever pitch when she found herself back where it all began, the ruins of the rusted king's fortress. The visions came stronger now, filling her mind with his final moments, his empire crumbling around him, his trusted generals turning on him, his last desperate cry as they tore the crown from his head. The whispers begged her to rebuild, to finish what he'd started, to rule as he once had. But Maren saw the truth. The crown wasn't guiding her, it was using her. It didn't care about the wasteland or its people. It only cared about its own survival, its own power. Maren stood in the heart of the fortress, the echoes of the rusted king's rise and fall all around her. In her hands, she held the crown, its faint hum vibrating through her bones. The wasteland didn't need another king. It needed something new. With all her strength, she slammed the crown down onto the rusted metal of the fortress floor. The sound echoed like thunder, and the crown shattered into jagged pieces. A wave of energy rippled outward, and for the first time since she found it, the whispers went silent. The wasteland would never forgive, never forget. But maybe, just maybe, it could learn. Maren walked away from the fortress, leaving the shards of the crown behind. She wasn't a queen. She wasn't a savior. She was just a scavenger who'd chosen to fight for something better. And in the end, that was enough.